Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton's Communications and Marketing Department. And today we're going to meet the Parks and Recreation Director and learn a little bit more about what that department does. My guest is Jim Wilson. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Before we talk about what you do, let's talk a little bit about you. Tell me where you grew up and how long you've been with the city.
Basically, I was born in Newport News at Buxton Hospital. My family was a Navy family, so basically we had been all over the country. I come back to visit in the summertime with my grandparents, never came back to live here until the mid-60s. And I've been here, went to school around here, and I've been with Parks and Recreation in the City of Hampton for 42 years.
42 years?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What was your first job?
It was a laborer over at Darling Stadium in Gosling Park.
Really?
Yes.
What interested you about Parks and Rec? Why did you go into that?
I've did other things. I did electronics with car stereos back in the days with 8-tracks and cassettes. And
Gosh,
stuff
I remember
like
that.
And get that. Just different things, and also try to pursue some architecture and things of that nature. So I was going to college part-time. I pursued that, and then I just kind of worked my way up the ranks, and it was interesting. And I appreciate the opportunity the city's given me.
So you have worked for Hampton in Parks and Rec for 42 years. I guess you've seen some changes.
Yes, very much so.
And you've been responsible for some of them, I would imagine.
Yes, I hope so. Hopefully they've been positive, but yes, I'm really grateful for the opportunities.
Well, one of the things that has surprised me since I've been at the city is exactly how much is in your department's portfolio. Like, I think people think, oh, you're in charge of the parks. That probably means, Sandy Bottom and Bluebird Gap and Gosnell's Hope. Those are the parks. When you think of the big parks, those are the ones that come to my mind. But that's really a small part of what you guys do.
Yeah, it is. Basically, we have over 156 full-time employees and 521 total employees, which a lot are seasonal.
But lifeguards.
That and basically program type staff, therapeutic type things, those type of things. Parks is just one division. Recreation is another division. We have the Hampton History Museum.
I was surprised to learn that was under Parks.
Yeah, that just celebrated its 10th anniversary. We have the Clean City Commission that we co-sponsor with the Department of Public Works, and then we have both the public golf courses. City of Hampton has 2 public golf courses, one on Woodland Road, and then they built the Hamptons over a landfill area off Butler Farm Road.
Wow, and I think beaches, you also have the beaches, and I don't think of those as parks. I know we list them under parks, but to me, I don't know what I think they are. They're clearly recreation, but...
Yeah, we have a lot of waterfront area. Obviously, the focus has been downtown Hampton, the Buckrow improvements that we've made, but we also have the Salt Pond Beach. Well, what a lot of people forget is Grandview. Grandview has over 500 acres of natural areas out there, beautiful birds, just a wonderful waterfront area, for opportunities.
How long has the city been sort of managing that? Because I think of it as a state park, which it is, but...
We've been managing it back in the 60s.
I didn't realize that.
I think when it converted over, I think part of when the city incorporated, I think the state gave it over to us. Same like we have the 3 boat ramp areas, and then we co-op and work with Dandy Point with the state conservation area.
So, wow. I mean, this is a city on the water with lots of water, not just, there's bayfront, there's rivers, there's creeks, a lot of navigable water. Is that a big part of what people do for recreation around here?
It's becoming more so. It wasn't in the past.
Really?
But, you've got a lot more people canoeing and kayaking where you didn't have in the past.
Yeah, and very few people could afford a boat and a place to keep it and all that sort of things. But when you have a kayak that you can carry and throw in the garage, it's a little different.
Yeah, and a lot of people return to nature, have exercise. You went through the phase with the jet skis and the windsurfers. They still do that too. But there's a lot of people that do, fishing and boating activities and crabbing activities, and we work a lot with the scouts too.
Yeah, that's okay. So in terms of that, you manage 3 boat ramps, Dandy Point.
Yeah, Dandy Point, Gosling Park,
Oh, right.
and Ivy Home Road.
Yeah, people don't always know that that's
Yeah,
one of the
Sunset
city's
Boat,
ramp
yes.
because it's so surrounded by that marina. And then a couple of smaller kayak launch type
Right,
areas.
and then,
And in terms of, let's talk about adult recreation. You've got all the water activities, you've got the beaches. What else do people around? Golf.
Yeah,
How popular are our golf courses?
Our golf courses are probably some of the most popular public golf courses in the Hampton Roads area. The Woodlands Golf Course is 18 holes off Woodland Road. We have 27 holes over at the Hamptons Golf Course. And plus we have the walking trail, the Matheson Trail around that, which a lot of people use for both jogging and rollerblading. You know, it's a good exercise opportunity.
Yeah, I like that as well, and it's also nice because it's not too remote. You don't ever feel.
Well, it's nice because it's in the trees. I mean,
Right,
you're not
right. You're in
beaten down by
nature,
the
but you're
sun.
not.
Yeah,
You're not way far away, so that if something happens, you couldn't get back.
that's for sure.
And Fort Monroe, your department leases some of the areas, the public areas of Fort Monroe.
Right, the city has leased the athletic fields, and that'll give us a little break for the shortage that we have in the city of Hampton. We have the beach opportunities, Outlook Beach out there, which is kind of a hidden jewel that not too many people know about.
Boy, I think that's amazing. I stopped by to get some pictures, and there's always families there. It's such a good place for young children because there's not a lot of waves, and you can wade out pretty far, and it still is really shallow there and protected because of those jetties.
Yeah, and like you say, it's great for families. You know, you don't have to worry about a lot of wave action.
Yeah, Buckrow can be not too rough, but for little bitty kids.
Well, and like I say, it's a hidden gem. More and more people will get out there. You know, as the summer goes on, it grows each year. But you know, it's a good family atmosphere. And plus, there's great opportunities at Fort Monroe because you can jog and walk.
That seawall is
along
great.
Seawall, and then you've got the free fishing pier, the Engineers Wharf fishing pier, which you can fish 7 days a week out there.
And that's pretty much the only free pier in Hampton.
Right. Mm-hmm. We
And
have the
there aren't very many in Newport News. I guess Hilton Elementary. I don't know if you're even allowed on that one all the time, but it's hard. It's hard to find. You have to have your own license. I'll say that in the air, but.
Yeah, and recently we had the Buckrow Fishing Pier added to the Buckrow area, and that's doing quite well right now.
That is doing well, and they're great. They post pictures on Facebook all the time of, nature shots and what people catch, and it seems like a real good community of folks that they have there. Well, now you haven't mentioned community centers. Let's talk about the city's community centers and what they offer.
Well, the city has the Teen Center on Butler Farm Road, and we have the Aquatic Center right behind there. We work with healthy families, and working with a co-op program there. We have Old Hampton Community Center, which has been a focus recently of maintenance issues in downtown Hampton. We have the very first, going back in the 60s, very few community center is North Phoebus Community Center. That was the very first one on Chamberlain Avenue. We still offer that for the people in the Phoebus area through there. You have Northampton Community Center, which is on Todd's Lane. West Hampton Community Center, which the Aberdeen group, was very vocal in trying to get established. We got a
that is a jewel. That really is nice.
Fitness area, and then the climbing wall out there. We're very proud of it. And then we have a lot of people that use the quarter-mile track at Lindsay Middle School out there too. And then we have the Senior Center on Kicquetan Road, and then we have the Newtown Center off Kicquetan Road and Ivy Home Road.
Yeah, and Newtown and YH Thomas are sort of different than the fully city-run centers. They use more volunteers or more community-based?
Yes, they do. During the All-American City process, and Councilman Moffitt was part of that whole program, they went to save YH Thomas. They've made it a community center. It's also, city uses it for their Clean City offices, fire training area, and what have you. But that's kind of a co-op thing where we have grant money, which we hired some city employees, and we have a lot of volunteer base. They have athletic associations out there. We're hoping to do major improvements in the back. It's a beautiful grounds out there.
Oh, it is.
It has a lot of opportunity. We have shelters out there. We have playgrounds. We're looking at, we just did a lighted baseball field and dedicated that. This past year, we're hoping to improve the football field and also do a walking path around the entire grounds out there.
That's nice. Well, you also manage, and by manage I mean buy the equipment and cut the grass and take care of almost all of the school playgrounds. Those
Yes.
are also considered the public parks.
And I guess, when you say Parks and Recreation, you have the mindset just what it is. I mean, we've covered the areas, but just in the Parks Division alone, we have, when we say 2 parks, we have 22 parks in there, but some are neighborhood parks at school sites that are over 2,200 acres. But the grounds maintenance division is responsible for 1,200 acres, which is over 55 major streets and side streets. You have city lots, you have public buildings, like you said. We have the schools, which we do the athletic fields, the playgrounds, and the maintenance of the school grounds. So it is quite a responsibility. You can picture taking care of your yard once a week if you had, we cannot take care of the entire city once a week, but doing the litter collection, and Debbie and her staff, with Clean City, have a lot of volunteers that really focus on trying to keep the city clean to help the city staff. We hire contractors to help support us too. But it's a massive undertaking, but it's quite a challenge.
Right, and people forget you guys have some of the big trucks and pitch in after hurricanes or floods to help clean the streets and get things ready again too. Not only cleaning up the parks, but
yeah, we try to assist Tony. We have a 3-person tree crew that takes care of the trees on the public right-of-ways and public grounds too. And then we're also responsible for putting out the American flags for holidays in downtown Hampton and Coliseum Central. So we take a lot of responsibilities with limited people.
Well, I will say, I go to all the city council meetings, and often when a public employee or a department is called out at a council meeting, it's often you. I mean, there are members of the public who will say, and Jim Wilson helped me do this, and Jim Wilson accomplished that. I hear it a lot, and you do have that reputation. It probably takes a lot of your time.
Well, it does, and a lot of people say, well, customer service is part of what we do, and all departments, follow into that. So, usually if we're not able to help, it goes to my bosses, then they try to figure out a way to try to do it. So we try to be accommodating. We're trying to get more people to develop ownership of different areas throughout the city because of our limited resources, and we're focusing on that in the future. So we're doing pretty good between school systems and volunteer groups too.
Well, I think that probably the volunteers are part of what has helped you in all these years of budget cuts and really maintaining as much or more area.
Yeah, we have a lot of seniors. We have a lot of youth that come forth and volunteer. The Air Power Park, went through some budget cutbacks, and we have retired military people and NASA employees that conduct tours out there and do a real good job.
That's great.
Keeping that open.
That's great. Well, I think, one of the things we're trying to do here is let people know what all these opportunities are, because there's so much you can do in Hampton for free or for very low cost. And as we do these shows, I look up and so many of them are in your division that I wanted a chance to talk to you.
Well, I appreciate that very much. That's quite an honor.
Thanks for coming by, Jim.
Okay.
And I appreciate it. And thank you for watching Round Robin.